remember yesterday we began the discussion surrounding our book, the beautiful book, The Diastema Code by Kithusi Mulonsia. I told you this is a very interesting book, and I hope by now the JS students grade 9, you are on it, right? Okay, so I will begin scene 2 of Act 1. And as I told you, I'm not going to rush through anything. I'm not going to make an assumption again of anything because I want you to understand the book fully so that when you go back to school, you can answer questions about what it involves, the characters within it, the themes and styles. So as we began with the synopsis yesterday, today we continue on the same. Welcome on board. I really wish to have as many people live as possible. Yeah, so scene 2 starts in a dimly lit room. Now, I want to ask you, when do you normally find yourself in a dimly lit room? Why should you have a dim lit room? Yeah, ask yourself that question so that actually as we talk about this scene, you are aware of what is going on. Now, remember the previous scene was revolving around the hospital, the ward, of course, that's the maternity ward, when Vera had given birth and her son had been stolen. Yeah, because the son cannot be found, and the friend who took her to hospital and stayed with her for some time seems to be a suspect number 1. Though currently nobody is actually pinning her down, from the questions that we saw Tinto asking and from the claims Vera raised, we are actually sure that there is something surrounding Bongi that is related to the disappearance of the son. Now let's get to scene 2. As I've told you, it is in a dimly lit room. Now sometimes the lighting of a room has something to do with why you are there. If I wanted to hide something, I would be in a dimly lit room so that nobody can see my eyes, you know, my non-verbal language. They will only hear the verbal one. And sometimes verbal language alone is not enough. Do you agree with me? All right. So let's proceed on. And we are told by the author that there are silhouettes of 2 women who can be seen sitting close to each other. Again, that's some cause for alarm, right? Welcome on board those who are live. I wish you could say hi so that I'm actually aware of those who are watching me. All right. So, the silhouettes of women. Now we want to know, why are they close to each other? People sit close to each other because they want to speak in murmurs. They don't want other people to hear what they're saying. Do you think this could be the purpose of why the 2 silhouettes are together? We have also been told they are conversing in low tones and raspy whispers. Do you now see what I suspected? All right, so why would they be whispering? Why are they talking in low tones? There is something suspicious here, right? Okay, welcome on board. We have about 6 members online live. Thank you for coming on board. I would wish to say hi to all of you. And I wish to see maybe who they are so that I can say hi personally to you. But I'm very appreciative you're on board. Now, we are discussing our book, The Diastema Code. It's a very interesting storybook to talk about. And after this, I'll be doing some other live on something else. Yeah, I always begin with the educational aspect before I go to reactions or edutainment. Yeah. So, we are actually seeing among the 2 women is Bongi. You remember the lady who was in the hospital with Vera? So she's here. And the next woman is Malkia, right? So they are both women. And we are told they are whispering. Okay. So let's get to see now, what are they talking about? We can see Bongi saying, are you happy that you got what you wanted? And Malkia says, yes, I'm very happy, but I guess there is someone else who will be a lot happier when he returns from abroad. So who is this? Of course, it's Ramu. Dr. Ramu is the husband to Malkia. They have been in and out to have a baby, but they don't have yet. Now, do you suspect what I also suspected? Bongi must have stolen Bera's child and brought to Malkia, right? Of course, that's what has happened. So Malkia is like, yes, holder of the brand new doctorate degree in psychology and the holder of the brand new baby. He has worked very hard for both. And is this true? No. This is deceptive. He has worked very hard for the degree. And of course, he was working so hard to have a baby, but they have not got the right baby, right? Yeah, so we see that Bongi is saying, are you going to keep the secret from him? You know, it's like she doesn't believe the husband will take whatever Malkia will say as truth. But it seems that is the nature of marriage sometimes. When people live together, sometimes even falsehood becomes truth and secrets are yet to be, right? So, Malkia of course says until the grave sheds their leaves. Do you see what that means? She will never, ever reveal the secret of having stolen Bera's baby, bought from Bongi, to have a baby here. Yeah, so Malkia says you do not want to rot in jail. Because now Bongi is like, how sure are you? Because now a secret is normally between two people. Once there is the third party and Bongi is involved, there is also a nurse involved. So Malkia says if you want to rot in jail, it's okay. Because if you open your mouth, of course, then everything will be, the truth will be exposed. And then, of course, the next stage, because you stole a baby, you'll be in prison. And again, she says, why would you do that? And I've just closed your mouth with a stash of words of cash. You know, money is what betrayed Jesus Christ. Do you remember how Judas Iscariot was paid? Then he betrayed Jesus Christ. Now, what about now Bongi? Bongi has betrayed a close friend, Bera. Is she trustworthy? Let's see. Okay, so we see that Bongi is saying now we want our balance. Of course, when you conduct or you get involved in the dirty business, you are not paid all the money. There is always an agreement that once the deal is sealed, maybe the rest will be paid. Don't ask me how I knew. Of course, this is what happens all over the places, and we've always heard that that's what goes on. Yeah. So Malkia is like, that's why I summoned here. And I demand silence. And I'll tell you when our sister in crime joins us. So the sister in crime, we want to know, who is this sister in crime, right? So the nurse then walks in. Do you now see the sister in crime? So we have the sister in crime who is the nurse coming in. And when she comes in, she's like, we want our money. And the nurse is like, there is only one devil here. And that is you. Of course, Malkia is the one who is being considered a greater devil. Do we have a greater devil than the other? Satan is just Satan, right? Whether a small or a large one, the effects are the same. I believe so. Demons are demons. Whether black or white, yellow or whatever. I don't know why they put them in black. Let me forget about that. Let me get back to my topic before I digress. All right. So as we look through the text, we see that Malkia says, if we appeared before the judge, we would be all sentenced to be hung, right? Because they have stolen the baby. So according to her, all of them are just criminals and they would be persecuted in the same way. But Bongi and the nurse believe they are not. Yet they are the ones who stole the baby. They carried the baby and sold it to Malkia. So in your thought, do you think there is a lesser evil here? In my thinking or ideology, I don't believe there is a lesser evil. It's just like when you're criminals, you're criminals. No one is better than the other, right? Yeah. So we see that Bongi says that there will be a lesser penalty if they went in. The penalty that she could pay would be less than what Malkia would pay. I'm not very sure about the legal aspect, but I don't think this is true. Now, we see that the nurse also wants the money, but Malkia says she will have to withhold the money until she's so sure that they'll never open their mouth. Now, how long do you think this will happen? Now, Bongi is surprised at this, shocked, because they had an agreement, you know. Yeah? Kuruka deal. Yeah, so Malkia is like, do not put words in my mouth. Huh? I said I'll do it, but at the right time. I've not stopped paying the balance, but I'll pay the right time. So the nurse says this is not the original script. and Malkia is like, okay, now we have to have a fresh script. Of course, the involvement of other parties, like an extra person, was not also in the original script, and you added that. So scripts are yet to be changed in life. Let me tell you, kids, or if it is teachers, life is not one scripture that you can just write a script the way we write for drama and it is acted as it is. Life tends to turn. You may be a very good person, but things just turn and you become a very bad person. Okay. So here now, the nurse says there's an extra person involved and this person needs to be paid. And Malkia is like, okay, you want to blackmail me, you won't do it. And why would you have been blackmailed by a security guard? Why wouldn't you avoid that? And Bongi is like, if we didn't involve him, the child would not get out of the hospital. Of course, he gave the search team a different direction. That's how we got to escape with the child. When the nurse was in the hideout, the security did not inform them where exactly they were. So you can see it's like a culture that hospitals play here. If nurses target to steal a baby, then they play this game and involve even other people. And those people understand because they know they'll be paid. Are you seeing the danger we are in? So as we proceed to page 15, we see that Bongi now says that we can do a plea bargain and roast you up. You know, they are threatening Malkia. And Malkia is a daredevil. She's not afraid. She says, okay, do it. And all of us will end up in jail. Hey, let me tell you people, if you collaborate with a criminal, you are in for it. And you may not change them at all. So Malkia is like, how can a thief claim to have been robbed? You know, for her, the Bongi and the nurse are thieves. So they cannot actually claim to have been robbed. And once a deal, it is. So it's closed. So then the nurse says, when will you pay us? And Malkia is like, when the baby is 3 years old. That is 35 months from the time they have stolen. So Malkia says, the lost baby will have long been forgotten. And even if you say anything, nobody will trust. Do you think that is true? I've seen situations whereby when they steal kids, even 10 years down the line, people can actually retrace and see what happened. Yeah, so the nurse is surprised and they're like, what we call this? And they're like, this is a blackmail. And the nurse it says it's a betrayal. You know, we had a deal and we stuck out our heads in danger. And all you can do is deprive us of our money. Malkia is like, okay, why did you involve the security guard without my knowledge or authorization? I even doubt if there was any security. It's like you're just playing on me. Are you seeing? Now there is doubt. She's gotten what she wanted. You know, it's like sometimes you get into a matatu and you pay money. Does the the Makanga does not care. Whether you sit or stand, it does not matter to them. So here Malkia has gotten the baby. Whether the baby was stolen in whichever situations, she does not care. Okay, so Bongi says, what about you? Are you not trying to punish us for your own inadequacies? Why didn't you bear a child for your family? You know, like you have been burdened and you're making us pay for it. And Malkia is so annoyed at this comment. So Bongi is there ducking, running off stage, and Malkia is pursuing her. So do you think she will ever pay them after 3 years? That is a story for another day. But I think I've been detailed enough, breaking here and there, just to make you absorb the information about scene 2. It's very short, by the way, but I've just tried to make it longer by explaining every detail. So bye-bye for now. Stay tuned and continue reading this book because it's a very interesting one. Thank you. R was on board, bomb clad. Bomb clad too. So bye-bye.